So I wanted to do something a little bit different here today. And what I wanted to do is something I haven't done in a while, and that is read your comments. Instead of replying to your comments, just reading them and giving my thoughts and, going through your comments on the video I put out. John Cena turns heel breakdown, why it works, why it's historic, and the intricacies and reasons why. And I'm really proud of that video. Like, I really am. This channel doesn't really focus on like heavy editing, but I think, I'm proud of the content that I put out because it's definitely different. So I'll be going through some of the comments here and kind of giving my thoughts and reacting to some of your opinions on the video and on the turn itself. So starting here with Robo Mafia 000, John Cena has become Majin Cena. Imagine Cena's first appearance after this moment is him coming out in a nice suit and basically becoming Jacob Toretto from Fast and Furious 9. So I'm going to go ahead and give that comment a heart. I agree with him. I saw another comment where somebody wanted Basic Thugonomics Cena to come back, and I think that would be a terrible mistake because, number one, the fans actually love Basic Thugonomics Cena, and number two, that does not make sense with this John Cena. If you were to bring back Basic Thugonomics Cena for this run with The Rock, it would not make sense. It would be a regression of the character. That's like what AEW did with MJF. Instead of going forward with his recent heel turn, they went backwards. And I think this time, for this heel Cena run, he needs to dress differently, speak differently. I agree with Robo Mafia. Him coming out with a suit would be nice. It's got to be Hollywood Cena because you've got Hollywood Rock. Now it's Hollywood Cena, the Peacemaker, the guy doing movies with Jackie Chan. It's not Basic Thugonomics John Cena. Jesse Joy said his facial and body language change was absolutely amazing. Yeah, he made the I'm turning heel face, the same one that Shawn Michaels made when he kicked Hulk Hogan in 2005, where it's like the angry puppy dog. And it was fun to see. Steb1 says Cody deserves a lot of respect for turning The Rock and John Cena heel at the same time. It's actually insane, and I see Roman helping out Cody. Agreed 100% with you, man. Cody Rhodes, as I said in a couple videos, is very good at being a babyface, and he's very good at being the new John Cena in many ways. Different, but the same. The kids love him, the adults love him. He has an edge to him, unlike, well, Cena had an edge too, but Cody is a different character, but he's very likable, and yes, seeing how popular Cody is, these kids that are watching wrestling now, Cody is their John Cena, like how the kids in the 2000s had John Cena, or like in the 80s they had Hulk Hogan. Wrestling is cyclical. We see these things recycle. In 10 to 15 years, maybe Cody will be the one that turns heel and we'll have another new baby face at the time. That's how it works. The cake says this needed Jim Ross. What in the name of God has gotten into John Cena? Yeah, young Jim Ross would have been great for this. Jim Ross now, I wish him well on his health issues. He's not the same. Akshay Shander, that's a complicated name. Sorry if I messed it up. Expectation, Homelander Cody. Reality, Peacemaker John. Well, true, but Peacemaker John was still a hero. He still wanted to do the right thing. Whereas this John Cena is a coward and he's selfish. And we haven't really seen John Cena play a character like that yet. And that's why it's exciting, because you know he can and you know he has it in him. So Lorgasmic says, Cena from 2004 to 2025, you can't see me. 2025, now you see me. 2026, now you don't. That should actually be a shirt, bro. That should be a merchandise shirt. Dylan Patel says Travis Scott was out there looking like a custom character in a video game cutscene. Dude, what was he doing out there? He had sage, but I thought he was like, it looked like he was lighting a blunt. Like we're watching it and I'm like, is this dude lighting up a blunt like right there in the arena? I don't, they didn't need him, man. They really didn't. S3 Studio says the 2020s continue to be an absolutely insane period for wrestling. Well, the post Vince McMahon for sure. Because 2020 and 2021, yeah, 2021 was an improvement. 2020 was bad and it was outside of WWE's control. But I agree that from 2022 until now, we're seeing things that we never thought we would actually see. So I'm going to leave a heart on that one as well. Black Wing says Cody Rhodes is the John Cena of 2005 to 2007. I agree. I agree. He's different, but it's the same type of character. And that's what Cody wants to do. Arkham saying, long time no talk, but dude, I'm in disbelief of what I fucking saw. Yeah, I'm not in disbelief, but I am. It's like, I'm glad they did it, but actually seeing it play out was still pretty shocking. You know what it reminds me of, man? When Robert Downey Jr. got announced as Doctor Doom. Like, this is sort of like the Doctor Doom John Cena era. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same face, new mask, same task, right? So it kind of gives me that vibe. Omar Herman says, what y'all failed to remember is that Cena started his career as a heel. You can always tell the ones that don't watch the videos because I literally said in the video that Cena was a heel in 2003. He just mentioned it. He was the heel in 2003. So, again, you can always tell the ones that don't watch the video or pay attention when they leave comments like this. And actually, you're wrong. His main roster career when he debuted against Kurt Angle, he was a babyface. Then he went heel. And then he went babyface again in 2003. Andrew Thomas S3U. I'm only 27, and I don't think it's crazy to say this would be the biggest moment in my life as a wrestling fan. Well, here's the thing, bro. You're only 27. What's going to happen in the next 3, 4, 5, 10 years? I mean, like I said before, I started watching wrestling in '89, and I saw it all. Like, part of me wishes I would have lived a little bit, like, younger to have seen, like, the peak of Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan in the mid '80s. But I was a kid. I was a baby. You know, I was born in '84. But I lived through the end of the Hogan era, the New Generation, the NWO, the Attitude Era, the Cena era, the PG era. And I'm one of those guys who's a wrestling fan for life. So even if the product sucks, maybe I'll stop watching the TV, but I'll always read up on what's going on. You know what I mean? Even if it sucks, I'll always keep in tune with what's happening in the business. So, but for so far, it could be. I mean, so far, it could be, man. Cody overthrowing Roman's another big one, too, that you probably lived through. Mike, Gamer of Sparta, says, we almost got heel Cena back in early 2012. And yeah, looking back now, glad he didn't. This is the way to go with Cena's last year. It's going to have it. This is great. Haven't seen this since '03. Well, like I said, this is going to be a different John Cena. The Thugonomics John Cena from '03 was very effective back then, but it turned him babyface as people love the rapping and the Marky Mark thing. This Cena has to be deplorable. Like, this Cena has to be a real bad guy. You understand what I'm saying? A guy who cheats, a guy who relies on The Rock to help him, a guy who looks down at Cody and at the fans. And he's right. There was talk of Cena turning in 2012 when he lost to The Rock, and I'm glad that he didn't. Maybe back then I would have said otherwise, but I'm glad that they waited because it was more effective now. Montreal Rather 660. Hasn't anyone reached out to R-Truth yet? Imagine seeing this outcome from your childhood hero. He's like crashing out on Twitter, bro. It's hilarious. DNA Orbelen 5343. Cena and Rock gonna be a menace leading into WrestleMania. Agreed. I'm gonna leave a heart on that. this is like the when Triple H and Austin were the two-man power trip in 2001. They could do things like that, where Cena and Rock are the two-man power trip, and they can come out and cut promos together, and they could. I would what I would do is, since they're not going to be on every TV, I would get Cena and Rock to like shoot promos ahead of time of them on like a yacht, or of them like reading over the Fast and Furious script or something, like where they're together, right? They're like, maybe throwing a party with a bunch of girls everywhere, something like that, and they're just talking trash to Cody, and you play a new one every week. That way, if they can't be there every week on the Raws and SmackDowns, you've got something to look forward to. You know what I mean? Some real like cool like heel shit where they're just taunting Cody. That's what I would do. the wrestling old head. We can finally see Cena again. Yes. I disagree with Grant. I'm still gonna give a heart, but I disagree with you. No, we do not need Thugonomic Cena. That is not going to work now. People are going to like that if they do that. You don't want people to like Cena. You want them to hate him. He's a heel. And they won't really hate him because we all know wrestling's a work, but in the universe, you want him to be a bad guy. Izumoli says, I think the first time there was a cuss word mentioned on live TV was Brett's infamous promo prior to WrestleMania 13 where he said bullshit to Vince. Yes, that's the go-home show for WrestleMania 13. Raw in 97 where he's like, everybody screwed me. He pushed down Vince, and he said this was bullshit. That wasn't, I'm not sure if that was planned though, and this was. It was the first time Vince allowed something like that to be said. Sure, it's not as profound as the F-bomb, uncensored, but it was actually heard by a crowd that Raw and Jim Ross actually apologizing for it on commentary. And, I was kind of surprised that Michael Cole didn't, say, we apologize. But he's not going to say that because Cody's the top babyface and because probably Triple H told him in the headpiece, just let it go. McAfee was like, oh, I can't believe we heard that, Plus, it's pay-per-view. It wasn't like it was on SmackDown, So I've always felt like for pay-per-view, there shouldn't be limitations like that. But I also feel like you should not use F-bombs every show. You've got to save these things for special moments like what we got at the Chamber. Big Brother says, do you think Punk and the Favor could come into play? I think that the favor has to do with Heyman and Roman Reigns more than anything with Rock. But let me keep reading what you're saying here. Between Cena getting a cheap win at the Chamber, thanks to Seth, and the history those two have, it makes sense to me. If there's one person who would be more infuriated at Cena selling out to Rock than Cody, it would be Punk. Way too much history there between Cena, Rock, and Punk. I absolutely agree. And I think that when Cena wins the title at WrestleMania, Punk has to be one of the challengers. Absolutely has to be. Because let's not forget their history, like you said. Let's not forget the fact that, they actually have a lot of chemistry. Punk and Cena have a lot of in-ring chemistry, yo. So, yes, I totally agree with you. I think post-WrestleMania is when we'll see that. I think now they're going to focus just on the Cody story. So I'll give that one a heart as well. Ik Giz Official. I have a feeling this turn coming so early indicates someone else might be turning or joining them at Mania. Possibly. I feel like someone other than Rock may interfere to help Cena win the title, hence joining and officially starting a corporate faction. I think a Drew McIntyre or Kevin Owens may do that. I can also see Rollins turning heel on Cody and joining them. Well, Rollins is already a heel. That's something no one's talking about enough. If you pay attention, what Rollins did to Roman at Royal Rumble and to Punk at the Chamber is a heel thing to do. And he's also a heel. It's just that his turn wasn't as dramatic as John Cena's. I don't know about Seth screwing Cody. I mean, he could because they have beef going back to WrestleMania 3 years ago. One of the ideas that I heard was Punk would eventually go heel and join Rock and call himself corporate man Punk, like CM Punk. That could also be a story for like next year, the year after. But I'm not sure if they're going to do that now because Punk is very popular. And right now, they kind of have enough heels with Rock and Cena. And of course, Seth, we mentioned him. They've got plenty of heels. Babyface side has Cody and Randy and Roman and Sammy. So I don't know if I would shake. I mean, I agree that maybe somebody could turn at WrestleMania, but who would it be? The only one I can think of, and the problem with doing this is that it's not going to lead to a match, would be Triple H. That he betrays Cody after what happened last year where he coronated Cody. But I also don't know if that's going to happen either, and I don't think it's a good idea if he's not going to wrestle. Because then you don't want Cody feuding with multiple guys who can't wrestle, right? Skyfall says John Cena decided to go all out on his final journey. Yes, and I'm here for it. Frank White said this was better than Dima's ending. Yeah, I agree. Since 89, Danny, you're an OG. Thank you, Infinite Sadness. Yeah, I've been watching this shit my whole life, bro. Rubik says, Mr. Geekdom, I remember clearly when you first said for a Cody Cena WrestleMania match to make sense, Cena would have to turn. Yes, I said that January 9th because I really put thought into it and I said, if they do face versus face, it's not going to work and you risk hurting both guys. Like you risk causing an issue with the fans. So Cena, if he's going to have this final historic run, why not make it extra historic by having him go heel? And obviously Triple H, Rock, Cena, and Cody together agreed, right? I mean, not that I talked to them, I'm not saying that, but you get my point. We're all in the same wavelength here. You deserve your flowers for rationalizing it. I thought it would have happened at the Royal Rumble, but last night was the perfect time. A month and a half out from Mania. Now people are willing to pay $3,000 for a seat. Well, those tickets are very expensive, man. And I won't lie to you, I was tempted to, after the angle last night, I was tempted to go. I'm not even going to lie, but I think I'll sit this one out. I may go next year because New Orleans has, I've been to every WrestleMania in New Orleans, 30 and 34, and I love Cajun food. I love New Orleans food, so that will take me out there. Raiden says, sorry, I don't think Austin turn is bigger than this one. I don't think I said that. We shouldn't judge yet. Cena just getting started with this heel turn. Let's wait and see. I agree, and I didn't say that the Austin one was bigger. I actually said that this one reminded me more of Bash at the Beach. The Austin one was big, but if you look at what happened to the business metrics, Austin turning heel hurt WWF. Not that night, but after Austin went heel, because the fans didn't want him to go heel, people stopped watching. The numbers started to dwindle. That was an error. And that's something that Austin has said, Jim Ross has said, Bruce Pritchard has said. Like, they have admitted, like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't have done that. This, though, I see no problem here. Robert Lee says, I love the idea of an I Quit match. Yeah, and Cena's good at those matches. Roll and Curtis of Expo in the 30s. I believe that the revenue from Cena's merch is still only second all time to the GOAT Stone Cold Steve Austin. Well, I don't have those numbers in front of me, but yes, the Austin 316 shirt is a very high seller. At least when I last checked in 2023, I believe that Steve Austin t-shirts were always the best selling t-shirts in the history of the industry. Yeah, I believe it's Austin number 1, NWO number 2. But nowadays, like the current guys, Jey Uso is selling a lot. Like people, I saw these nerds like bitch about Jey Uso winning the Rumble, and it's like, but the dude is over and he's selling merch. Like this makes logical sense. And you want to elevate him to main event status. You know why? Because maybe we'll get Jey Uso and John Cena sometime this year. And why not elevate him to a top position? So actually make him main event Jey Uso with a championship. So yeah. They got plenty of merch guys now, and that's why it's okay to turn Cena. They even uploaded the F-bomb uncensored to YouTube. I was told about that. Didn't know you were a wrestling fan. Well, that's on you, man, because I have been doing wrestling videos on here since, God, 2018, 2017, forever. Felt like I was the only person who watched anime and wrestling. You're inspiring me. Dude, everyone from high school that I went to watched anime and wrestling. Everyone. I'm not saying they all stuck with it, but anime and wrestling does have a crossover. That's why I find it stupid when wrestling fans trash anime and when anime fans trash wrestling. I find it very, very dumb. Mateo17852, I can't wait to see what his new entrance theme is going to be. Yes, he cannot use My Time Is Now. He can't even use I'm a Bad, Bad Man because that's more of a comedy song. So they would have to come up with something new, but it's got to be good. It's got to be good. You understand what I'm saying? I guess we'll find out in a couple weeks. Games, Tyler. Danny, you got to make videos explaining the history of wrestling. Would love to hear your commentary. I mean, it would depend on what history. You know, I love talking about that stuff. Go to iTunes and look up the K-Fabulous Lucha Brothers Wrestling Show. That's a history of wrestling podcast I've had since 2014 with Brandon Draven, and there we go into the history of wrestling. So I do have a podcast about that, but I'm letting you know now that podcast is not for the faint of heart. We make a lot of jokes, a lot of crude jokes that people, if you're sensitive, it's not for you. It's two guys hanging out, making fun of the world and pro wrestling. Sponge Monkey said, "I realize you're a Dragon Ball guy too." Yeah, I've been, referred to as that. Amedi Maximiliano says, "I could also see a potential Cody versus Rock WrestleMania 42. Absolutely. If they're not going to do it this year, they could do it next year. And then if they wanted to, WrestleMania 43 could finally be Rock and Roman. And that's when Rock can actually step away so that he doesn't get hurt. But the problem is Rock's Hollywood schedule with the Moana thing. And that's the issue why we didn't get. Remember, Cena versus Rock was the planned match this year, and it got changed. So, I agree with you, but it's like what I said in my Dragon Ball stream, man. It's difficult to know when they don't, it's difficult to know the future, is what I'm trying to say. Fill Up, very clever name, he says, was saying that Cena turning heel was a possibility of happening ever since we got the reports of Cena versus Cody at Mania, and it's his last run. Yeah, I talked about that in January, but I can't believe they actually did it. They made the face of the franchise for so many years heel. Yeah, man, if you did not live during the Hulk Hogan 96 heel turn, right? If you were too young or you weren't even born, this is the closest to that. It's the closest they've come because it's the same thing. Hulk Hogan was the face of professional wrestling. I know that people hate him now, but these are facts. In the 80s, Hulk Hogan transcended wrestling. He had a cartoon, he had toys, he had merch everywhere, he had action figures. Well, those are toys. He was all over movies and TV and, Cena is like the modern, the 2000s version of that, and now he's a heel. Let me keep going here. It's such a historic moment of all time, watching Cena be the never give up good guy at the start to see him turn into this Hollywood corporate best for business, selling his soul bad guy at the end makes so much sense. Yeah, because he can't beat Cody, and he wants to. I just hope after WrestleMania or even sooner when Cena finishes filming a role, he starts showing up at Raw or SmackDown. I need him to say F it and extend his last run to next year. Well, I hope you're right. I really do. I want it to happen because it's going to piss me off if Cena's not there. But I think they want us to be pissed off at Cena. You understand what I'm saying? So it might work. But yeah, no, I wholeheartedly agree with that. I'm going to do a couple more. And then we'll be done. I got 200 comments, bro, so I can't do all of them. Cena, now you see me. Okay. All right. Ghost True Capitalist. All right. He says, finally, someone said it. People should stop saying which turn was better. The Hogan 96 and the Cena 2025 turns are big in their respective eras. Exactly. They're similar. They're very similar, but not identical. I don't want a long reign of Cody. I'd rather he win the championship multiple times, like how other great wrestlers did it by overcoming adversity and having everything placed against them. Also, I don't want Roman's long reign broken. Yeah, I don't think Cody's going to have the belt for 4 years. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's probably going to be what you said, where he'll have multiple reigns, because I think Cena is going to take the title at WrestleMania, and then Roman and Cody can chase him into the summer. So I think that's best for business right there. I think Cody being the underdog, trying to overcome Cena and Rock. Rock really is the final boss, because Rock threw Roman at Cody last year, and then now Cena. It's like he's throwing these different guys at Cody, and he is the final boss. I like that. So he goes on to say, I don't think Cena has won a championship as a heel, so I would think winning his 17th would make it memorable. Well, in WWE, no, if you count, I think he was champion in OVW as the prototype, and that was developmental. Most don't count that, though. Later this year, the only thing missing is Cena's resume as IC title. Hopefully Triple H can fulfill this. Dude, no, the IC title is way below John Cena. That's not going to happen, man. It doesn't matter. Think about what you're saying. You're saying that Cena should win the IC title. Cena's about to become a 17-time world champion and break the Ric Flair record, even though real fans know that Flair's been champion more than 16 times. They just don't recognize all the title changes. Well, him being the number 17 is way bigger than the IC. The IC is far beneath him, dude. Far, far beneath him. Travis had the best view in the house. I agree. W Video Geekdom, I agree with your takes. Turning Cena heel is the right time to do it. Everything makes sense. It was not disappointed. Imagine the promos between heel Cena and CM Punk. Yes. And heel Cena and Cody. And heel Cena and Heyman and Roman. There's a lot of potential, man, for good stuff. There's a lot of potential. Thank you, Homework 9102. This will be the last one here from Shyluck 11. He says, perfect road for Cody to become the best babyface ever, defeating Cena and Rock at last. Yeah, the Rock win will be later, but yes. And Cena and Cody will be one of the only guys to have wins over Roman, Cena, and Rock. But remember, Rock is the only guy to have clean wins over Austin. Well, somewhat clean wins over Austin, Cena, and Hogan at WrestleMania. And so that's his, big trophy. You know what I mean? I have wins over over 3 different generations. And if you count Rock pinning Cody last year, 4 different generations. Holy shit. Anyways, man, I enjoyed doing this. Maybe I'll do this more often. I hope you enjoyed it too. Have a good one. I'm sure we'll have more to talk about with John Cena and this tonight on Raw. They're probably not going to have a promo tonight. What I would do is have reactions of people on the roster and people in the company, like other wrestlers and referees and stuff like that, giving their opinions on this, because when Hogan went heel in 96, and even before that in the 80s when they were heel turns, they would often interview wrestlers that weren't involved in storylines with them just to get their take. Oh, I can't believe Cena did that, You know what I mean? Like what they did on SmackDown where Drew was coming up to Cody saying, I'd take it. Same thing. Anyways, man, have a good one. See you soon.